Okay, so Joe Biden's big move is to do exactly what Donald Trump did, but not xenophobic like. Right? He's going to do a travel ban, and that's supposed to fix everything. Here is the problem. It's not going to work. And the reason it's not going to work is because it's already seated here. Okay, so the Biden administration is trying to double down on boosters at this point. Again, the data on Omicron is not sufficient to say that a 30-year-old needs a booster shot at this point. Fauci said it is conceivable, if not likely, that booster shots will provide at least a partial shield of protection against the new variant. He did not cite any data to explain why he said that that is the case. Also, the experts are saying, by the way, these travel bans are not really going to do anything. Fauci has said it is highly unlikely the vaccines offer no protection against the new variant. The WHO says it's working with a large number of researchers around the world to understand the impact Omicron would have on existing vaccines and antivirals. So they don't even know, what this thing does to the vaccine at this point. And they're like, well, what if we just keep shooting you full of more vaccine? How about we find out what it does first? I know it's kind of crazy to suggest that maybe we should be guided by data as opposed to just like randomly jabbing people at this point. Again, I'm very pro-vaccine, but I like data also, and you've provided me no data, sir. So this is unhelpful. As far as the travel bans, so Joe Biden, remember, not a xenophobe. He's not. He's a different old white guy than the last old white guy. He is not xenophobic. So Fauci comes out. He's like, yeah, maybe it's already here, which is awkward for us a little.
Is it possible it's already in the U.S.?
Of course, anything is possible. We don't know that. There's no indication that it is right now. It seemed to have been restricted. There were some cases that originated in South Africa and that went to Botswana, and people who traveled and found out they were infected, and one that had gone actually to Hong Kong. So there's a lot of travel. You never know exactly where it are, and that's the reason why we're getting together to them to try and get the precise molecular makeup of it so you could actually test for it.
Okay, meanwhile, Fauci is trying to, so he's saying it's probably already here. And then he's like, oh yeah, but maybe the travel bans will buy us some time. Will they? Explain.
It will slow things down, George. Travel bans, when you have a highly transmissible virus, never completely would get the virus to prevent it from coming into the country. No way that's going to happen. But what you can do is you can delay it enough to get us better prepared. And that's the thing that people need to understand. If you're going to do the travel ban the way we've done now and that we're implementing right now, utilize the time that you're buying to fill in the gaps.
Okay, so maybe that's true and maybe it's not. I will say that a travel ban that is geared toward South Africa alone and not toward anybody who has traveled to South Africa or from South Africa and people who have been with those people, like once it's already widely seeded, it's a little bit late for that. But again, it's not xenophobia unless Donald Trump does it, is the rule. Fauci, by the way, again, he just keeps throwing out all of these maybes. And the maybes are designed to scare the crap out of you. So now he's saying, well, maybe we'll do a vax mandate to just travel, to get on a plane. Now, again, this is insane. The reason it's insane is because the planes have been like one of the safest places this entire pandemic. They've got the HEPA filters. Okay, planes have not been a central vehicle for transmission of the virus throughout the entire pandemic, which was counter to what a lot of people thought. No evidence was ever provided that if you were on a plane with a lot of other people, that you were more likely to get this than if you were at a crowded grocery store, for example. But Anthony Fauci is now saying, maybe we'll force you to get the vax so that you will get on a plane. Like, come on.
Right now, we hope that people who get vaccinated and who follow the appropriate recommendations, that air travel will continue to be safe. And right now, air travel is. When you say travel in general causes a risk of increased transmission, it's the whole process of traveling, going to the airport, being in an airport in congregate setting, people taking their masks off. That's the issue that we've got to make sure that we adhere to more closely and more firmly.
Okay, so in other words, it's not the planes, but we might force you to vax anyway to get on a plane because, it's the whole process of travel. Oh, you mean like life? Oh, yeah, it's true. Like life is a process in which travel is a part. He's like, well, it's not just the travel. It's, you're at the airport and then you're in the car before you go to the airport and then go to Marshall's to pick up a suitcase in order so you can go to the airport. And then when you get off the plane at the airport, you might be hungry. So you go to a restaurant, you pick up some chop suey. Like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Why would you let these jackasses run your life? Why? What evidence have they provided to you that they are good at this? Any? Okay, so Fauci was then asked about representing science because he was saying, like, why are you attacked? Why are you attacked, Dr. Fauci? These are always the questions he's asked by our legacy media. Instead of being asked, why do you shift your opinion every 5 seconds? Why do you seem to do the bidding of the Biden administration while rolling your eyes during Trump press conferences? Why is it that you're willing to trot out whatever propagandistic line Joe Biden is trotting out today? And why is it that we should listen to you after you've gotten every element of this wrong at some point during the pandemic? You've provided no forecasting ability whatsoever. You haven't even provided diagnostic ability throughout this pandemic. The data you've provided have been counterproductive. You've lost the trust of the American people. Instead of asking actual tough questions, the legacy media are like, why are people so mean to you, Dr. Fauci? Can we make another fawning documentary that shows a picture of you in your home on your computer with a giant poster of you next to you? By the way, that is one I'm never going to understand. And dead giveaway that somebody is a douchebag is if there is a picture of them in their house with a giant picture of them right next to them. Dead giveaway you're a douchebag. We're not talking about like a family picture with you and the rest of the members of your family. We're talking like a portrait of you next to you. Okay, that is the douchebag giveaway. Go check out his documentary. It is there. Anyway, here is Dr. Anthony Fauci being asked about why he's criticized. And his answer is, of course, because he is science. He is. Like Emperor Palpatine is the Senate. He is the science.
If they get up and criticize science, nobody's going to know what they're talking about. But if they get up and really aim their bullets at Tony Fauci, well, people could recognize there's a person there, so it's easy to criticize. But they're really criticizing science because I represent science. Oh. That's dangerous. To me, that's more dangerous than the slings and the arrows that get thrown at me.
Okay, so I have a question. When you criticize Jay Bhattacharya from Stanford, when you criticize Marty Makary from Johns Hopkins University, when you criticize Scott Atlas from Stanford, when you criticize all those people, are you attacking the science? Or are you just attacking a particular scientific perspective on the data? Why is it that only Anthony Fauci is the science? Why is he the voice of science? He's bad at this. He's just bad at this. Okay, and then he's asked specifically about the idea of being prosecuted. Okay, so there have been a lot of Republicans, Ted Cruz, Rand Paul, who've suggested that Anthony Fauci lied to them about gain-of-function research in Wuhan, which he kind of did. The way that he has avoided the actual perjury question is by redefining gain-of-function. Okay, gain-of-function typically means, according to Anthony Fauci, that you increase the transmissibility of a virus within a species. It doesn't mean that you make a virus transmissible cross-species. And that is a really formal definition of gain-of-function research that does not meet the smell test. But that's what Anthony Fauci's been relying upon. So Rand Paul and Ted Cruz have been going after him. And Anthony Fauci is asked about this. And he gets super pissed and then cackles like a Bond villain here.
Senator Cruz told the Attorney General you should be prosecuted.
Yeah. I have to laugh at that. I should be prosecuted. What happened on January 6th, Senator?
Do you think that this is about making you a scapegoat to deflect from President Trump?
Of course. You have to be asleep not to figure that one out.
Well, there are a lot of Republican senators taking aim at this. I mean,
that's okay. I'm just going to do my job. And I'm going to be saving lives, and they're going to be lying.
I'm going to be saving... Okay, how many lives has Anthony Fauci saved? Really? How many? Also, I love that my favorite is humorless laughs. Humorless laughs are some of my favorites. So when you're asked a question and you don't like the question, and so you just sort of laugh, but there's no laughter in the eyes, that's my favorite kind of political laughter. Kamala Harris is really good at it. That's the one where you like laugh and it's like this. Love that from Anthony Fauci. What about January 6th? What about January 6th? Hell are you talking about? We're talking about whether you lied about gain-of-function research in Wuhan and whether you suck at your job. That's what we're talking about right now. What the hell does that have to do with Trump? What a political hack he is. Remember that time when he was not a political hack or was supposed to not be? Yeah, he's a political hack. But we should always listen to these people. They're the experts. Remember, they've provided you no data that Omicron is more deadly or that it will lead to your hospitalization. They've provided no data. The vaccines don't stand up to Omicron. They've provided no data whatsoever that natural immunity doesn't provide any protection against hospitalization or death from Omicron. But listen to them, because they will laugh at you if not, and they are the science. If you fall for this one, honestly, we're a civilization that gets what we deserve if we have decided to worship at the altar of idols like Anthony Fauci, rather than looking at actual hard data that they refuse to provide. How's this for a title? Ben Shapiro Show subscriber destroys like button with clicks and logic. I'd watch that. Make it happen, gang.